Hey, this is Mixi from Stitched Up Heart, and you're watching the Grizzly ENT podcast.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Grizzly ENT podcast. Today, I'm joined by Mixi of Stitched Up Heart for the second time, actually, but not on the podcast, but second time, quote, interviewing her. So how we've been since, when was the last time we talked? May? April, somewhere around there?
Honestly, this whole year's been kind of a blur, so I feel like,
Yeah.
But yeah, I guess it'll be good to catch up. A lot has happened since then.
Yeah, so this is actually a weird type of thing, too, because this is the first time I'm actually bringing somebody on the podcast whose album I've actually reviewed, and luckily it was a positive review. I actually gave it a strong 8 out of 10, and I believe it was in my top 20 best albums of the year, I think. I believe it was 7 or 8, I don't remember, but
Thank you.
So, anyway, I just thought it would be a cool idea to kind of go through the album and just kind of trade ideas about, like, my interpretation, and then you can kind of bounce back off of the ideas that I had, or kind of, if you're like, nah, you're completely wrong, fuck that, this is what it's about, that whole kind of spiel, if that makes sense.
Everybody's interpretation is going to be slightly different. It's art. You don't have to choose. It doesn't have to be right in any situation. It's just what you hear,
Mm. So let's just begin. The first track, "Lost," featuring Sully Erna. When I first listened to it, I thought it was kind of odd seeing Sully on there because I don't know. It's like you wouldn't expect, like, out of everybody, Godsmack to just randomly appear on another album. But I thought that I'm kind of hazy about it because it's been a little bit since I've listened to the full album and did, like, the whole dissection of it. But I do remember when I listened to it, I did enjoy the chorus and the harmonies that were really entwined into that. And since we're talking about Sully Erna, what's the word I'm looking for? How did you convince him to be onto the song? Well, not convince, you know what I'm saying? Like, how did...
I took, like, a knife to his back, and I was like, hey, you better sing for me or else.
Was that, like, the true story, or was that, like, a... Oh, okay.
You know what it is relationships are so important, and we had built a friendship over time, and, and especially this rock community, yeah, it's Godsmack, it's a little different than us, but it's still the rock community, so it's like, it's like one big, giant, like, family, I guess, if you want to put it that way. So we all know each other. Like, everybody knows each other. Eventually, everybody's going to tour with everyone, pretty much. Yeah. Like, we all are in this group that's, not as big as you think. But so me and him and I just kind of became really good friends. And when we were writing the record, the subject of him singing on one of the songs came up from my management. They wanted me to ask him, and I was like, I don't want to ask him that. And he was like, yeah, it just has to be the right song. And we went back and forth over what song, whether or not we were going to do a cover and all that stuff. So it wasn't until the very end of the record that I was, like, listening to Lost, and I realized that it could be a really good moment for him to come in after the second chorus into this kind of breakdown kind of part, this bridge, and it's heavier and it's more Godsmack, old Godsmack-esque kind of. And he was like, yes, I love it, let's do it, and flew out to Nashville because they moved their studio over there, and it just happened. And then he was like, well, who's going to sing my parts? And I'm like, well, it would be nice if you sang them, kind of thing. So it happened, and it's still really cool. And I think featuring other artists I think that's going to be something that's pretty big in the rock community. That hasn't been as much. It's more so you find it in, like, hip hop and stuff. But a lot of rock artists as we are all friends. We're all family. We can cross promote each other. And it's really fun to collaborate with other people in your field and see what happens. And, you know, I wish I could do it on every song. I have
Mm.
so much.
I do like going back on like albums from last year. I know that Maria Brink of In This Moment, she did a lot of collaborations on her album. I know she got Joe Catella of Dead on one of her tracks. She had Lizzie Hale. Who was it? It was Lizzie Hale, Taylor Momsen, and who else? What? There was one more person on there, wasn't there?
Maria, Lizzie, and Taylor, yeah.
Oh, I was thinking that. I don't know why. I was thinking there was a fourth member. Oh, that's why. I even said in my review, I was like, I feel like there should be a fourth member on here.
Should be me. That's just a remix.
Yeah, I was thinking of that. I think I said in the review, I think I said Ash Costello, but then I said in like if you wanted to go like old school, probably like Doro Pesh or even Otep if you want to like go even like more unique, I guess. I don't know. But like I just remember seeing a lot of I did see a lot of people were starting to do more
Collaborations.
yeah, a lot more collaborations as of late. And
Yeah.
you were actually mentioning a couple minutes ago, you were saying that you guys were thinking about a cover.
We were talking about doing a cover with Sully, but I just don't really like doing covers.
What
First,
covers were you guys thinking of?
we were talking about doing that Ozzy "Close My Eyes Forever," Lita Ford and
Uh,
Ozzy. Uh, I don't know, like if especially if we're gonna do a song together, I want it to be original and authentic and
yeah.
not somebody else's art that you just redid. Like, I'm not really about that. And as far as covers go for our band, uh, I we can never decide. We can never agree on anything. Like,
Yeah.
I'm down to do something like Marilyn Manson would be fun. You know, Nine Inch Nails, old school Nine Inch Nails type stuff.
Even Manson did his covers. You know what I mean? It's like everybody has a cover in one of their discographies at least.
We could do like a cover of a cover and do Beautiful People.
That was what I was thinking, the beautiful people.
Just super
Okay.
cover.
Yeah. So moving on to the next track, This Skin. I believe that was a track that I really enjoyed. I think I still listen to it. Yeah, I listened to it not too long ago, and I kind of got this whole idea that it's about body insecurity and being about, uh, being safe in your skin, but also at the same time you're at war with yourself, talking about being in your own skin. It's like a conflicting type of conflict. Yeah, like a back and forth type of conflict where some days you feel happy in your skin and then other days you're just completely out of it and you don't really know how to feel.
Yeah, I mean, you pretty much hit the nail on the head. It's just, yeah, like about being uncomfortable in your own skin. Like I was thinking about it to get asked this question a lot when this song was written. Like, so why so many tattoos?
Hmm.
And I really, really try to dissect that question. Why do I do that? I mean, maybe it's part masochistic. It's part knowing I can handle this, then I can handle anything. Like I can handle this pain, I can get through this. But it might be also hiding a little bit of the softness inside and like trying to be tougher than I feel like I can be like on the inside. You know, I feel like I'm small and little sometimes on the inside and just not being comfortable. And like, you know, have you ever walked into a place in a room full of a bunch of people you don't know and you don't know how to be and how to act and you're intimidated by everyone and living in this world of fear and that's kind of how what that song's about being an alien, like not fitting in and owning up to it and realizing it. I think that's a big thing, like realizing, okay, I feel this way. What do I do about that?
Hmm. A big highlight of the song that really like drove me to that conclusion was the chorus, "This skin I'm in, I painted scars all over it." So is there another theme about self-harming also in there? Like kind of, well, not like a theme of self-harming, but like kind of mentioning that uh, it could be like physical scars or mental scars that you kind of repress or you kind of use the tattoos to get rid of in a figurative way. Like I'm just kind of asking questions off the top of my head. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying?
it's all how you interpret it, if somebody hears that and it gets them through that part, then that's pretty much what you're going to get. Like I said, it's art, and it could mean that, could maybe.
Okay, so this next one I actually don't remember that well. Can you give me a little bit more insight on problems?
Oh yeah, like I think I'm married to my problems. About like realizing like, oh my gosh, I'm always constantly wrapping my head around all my problems. Like I never focus on the good stuff. I'm always like thinking that everything's like bad.
Thinking in a
And
pessimistic sort of way.
yeah, like, and but that's the thing, is it is turning it around again and being aware of your thinking that way, being aware that, oh, okay, I think I'm married to my problems. Like I can't stop thinking that I'm not good enough, or I'm not talented enough, or all these things that we think. And so the first part of waking up is realizing that you have this thing that you keep doing, and try to fix that.
Yeah, there is a. I think what I admired most about the project was that there's a lot of themes of just just mental problems and mental insecurities that you express throughout the songs. Because if I remember correctly, I think like most of the songs were kind of touching on different types of mental illness, if that makes sense. Some of them were, in my opinion, it felt like there was some talking about self harming. There was stuff about depression, stuff about pushing yourself to the edge and wanting to keep continuing, but seems as if you can't continue. Like, I think that's why I enjoyed the album as much as I did, because I can relate to a lot of those problems, and I think that because sometimes there are people who kind of exploit that whole thing about mental illness just for a quick buck. But I can tell that there is a lot of genuine, what's the word I'm looking for? A lot of genuine feelings. Yeah, there's a lot of genuine feelings behind the music instead of just uh, pandering to the crowd to make a quick buck and to get some popularity.
Right. I think that you can read authenticity. People, I mean, it's music. You're feeling the emotions of when it's being written, and if you're writing something that's not how you're feeling, then it doesn't come across real. I went through some things that in between that album and Never Alone that were terrifying. It pretty much was going to redirect. I thought everything was over for me in my dreams for a little bit there. And it's like you work so hard on something for so long, and you think that it's going to just all be taken away from you. Then there's nothing you can do about it. Um, that, it's like your whole world implodes. And I was going through a lot of stuff. So that came out in the lyrics. And I, again, tried to show people that they're not alone in those feelings, and try to reach to those people, because I think that I want to make music a healing power, and try to pull them out and know that they're not the only ones going through stuff.
See, that's what I'm saying. You know what I mean? It's like that was a genuine feeling. You know what I'm saying? I felt it through the screen. You know what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
uh, so the next track, Warrior. I actually have a funny story about that. So I actually discovered you guys through a YouTube ad that had Warrior playing, and I was like, wait a minute, wait, why is this an ad? Like, because I was listening to music, so I was thinking, oh, it must have been my shuffle. But then I saw it was an ad, and I was like, I gotta check this out for a second. So then I went back and I listened to a couple of singles from your previous project, and I was uh, and also like kind of going off of the music video and stuff like that. Back then, I didn't really know much about Stitched Apart. You know what I mean? I didn't really know that much, but kind of diving into the music and everything. I feel like Warrior is kind of the same themes that you were talking about with Problems, where but it's kind of like an optimistic sort of view. So like, or what was the one that I was saying was a pessimistic? The
I think problems.
so this one's kind of an optimistic. It kind of switches the same subject over its head, and kind of gives you a better look on things, where and it's also pretty good for pacing of an album as well because you have this sad part where everybody's just down in the dumps, and then all of a sudden you go to the next hopeful track, and it builds the serotonin up, and everybody starts to appreciate more because now they know the two sides of the brain, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Well, Warrior, I actually rewrote that lyrically in the verses and stuff. And mainly because I wanted to write a powerful song. I didn't want it all to be sad and depressing and dark,
Mm-hmm.
which is not my goal. I want people to feel better after stuff I want it to feel good, even if it's reaching those dark places. But originally it was all powerful. Oh, we're warriors. We'll get through it. Like, we're going to kick some butt. But it wasn't, again, feeling authentic to me when I listened back to the lyrics I was writing, because I was so strong, but you don't have that contrast if it's all just how strong you are. You have to, I feel like you have to bring that darkness, and Warrior is about, if it's a little twist on like what happens after war and what you've been through and what you've seen, and are you a hero? Like, I can't, like, the first lyrics are can't be your hero, and it's mainly because, like, there's stuff you've been through and seen that you didn't know maybe you were doing the right thing, and you can't talk about it, and you're going to live with that in your head forever and remember that and replay that over and over again. And but you keep remembering you're a warrior, and the stuff that you did was because you're a warrior, and you made it through. And it's kind of a twisted way of looking at it, I guess.
Yeah, that is a good way to put it. The next track, Straight Jacket. I do remember the first time that we did the interview. I know you said that you don't like to perform any songs about love. I believe you said that. Yeah, and I was and the weird part is like I believe this was one of my favorites on the album. Hold on, let me. Yeah, yeah, and I think it was kind of like the kind of like euphemisms that you were using, saying, my heart needs a straight jacket, you make me crazy. Like that sort of like tongue in cheek type of thing where it's like you're just looking at it and you're like, "Oh, I get it."
Yeah.
So you want to elaborate on that one a little bit more or
Comes to love songs, I feel like it can be really cliche.
Mhm.
I try to avoid cliche topics. It's hard because we all go through a lot of the same stuff. But it was like, all right, we're gonna write some stuff about just being in a crazy relationship, and like just let it out there. And it's not that I don't know what it is. I try to avoid love songs because I feel like there's other important stuff. You know what I'm saying? However, that song has grown on me. It is really fun to perform. It's super high in the chorus, the notes and stuff I have to hit, but it's a challenge, and it's I like challenges, so it's really fun actually.
Yeah. I think that's why I like the song so much because of the high register that you were reaching in the chorus. But I think something else I had a question about for that song was who did you come up with the idea to say hush during the chorus, or was that somebody else? Okay. I was gonna say because when I was listening to it, it just seemed as if um it seemed as if maybe you were shushing yourself or like you were like talking to the other person. Like I had this like I didn't know like what to think. Like I left it out of the review because I didn't know what to say.
I just had this because I don't know if you've ever been in a crazy relationship where you're just like, okay, just, or I'm telling myself to be quiet because otherwise he's gonna go crazy, or like, or you're saying, will you please just shut up? Kind of. I mean, yeah, I guess it was just like, I don't know why. I just got that word. Just I was like, this would be great here. I don't know why. So, yeah.
So the next track, Dirty Secrets, I believe. Yeah, so I draw a lot of comparisons to old school mid 2000s, sort of like Flyleaf, Versa Emerge, and stuff like that. Uh, was there any kind of connotation that you were, or any kind of vibe that you were trying to give to the song, or was there, or were you just sort of like thinking to yourself, all right, I'm gonna perform, and I'm just gonna let people decide what I'm talking about?
Yeah, with that song, it's just about like not knowing what's going. Actually, when we first wrote that, I had done this meditation beforehand, this like creative meditation. I did a lot of meditations during this record before I would go in and write the lyrics to stuff, and I was trying to find like a, I don't know, somewhere to go with this next song. And one of the meditations was like about in your head, close your eyes and picture a box. And what color is the box? How big is the box? How far away is it? How close is it? And, you know, put stuff in that box. And I realized that your box might be different than my box. Your box might be furry. My box might be smaller, and those little secrets that we all keep, it stay in those boxes. There's little things in those boxes in everybody's mind, all these little skeletons and stuff that we don't talk about. And so it's just about not really understanding everybody else's box. Like, why do they have a different kind of box than me? And what is in there? And you're never going to know. So I will never know what's in your head. You can keep your dirty secrets, so that's that song in a nutshell.
So essentially, you made the song after a meditation class, essentially.
It was a YouTube video I watched.
Oh. I have tried meditation in the past, but considering my house is just full of people, it's just hard for me to actually sit still and actually get into my mind with the meditation and stuff like that. But the moving on from that, the next track, Darkness.
It takes practice.
Yeah, so the next track, Darkness, I believe I don't remember what I said about this track, but I did know that I liked it for the very simple chorus, with the electronic element, which is something else that I liked about this album. It was full of a lot of experimentation, and it was up for, and there was a little bit of everything on the album for people to enjoy. And I believe that this, like, halfway through the album, it kind of gets a little bit more electronic based and it starts to experiment a little bit more. So, what was the idea of Darkness when you kind of came up with the idea for the song, and what drove you to make that the title track of the album?
So I had just, it was the first song when we were going right in the studio. We were going to write like for a week some more new stuff, and I just been dealing with a few girls who listened to our band and didn't have a will to live anymore, and they didn't want to be here, and they felt like they were just in the way. And I wanted them to know over and over again, I was trying to pull them out of this dark space, and I wanted them to know that, like, they've done this before, they've gone through this before, and they've gotten out of it, and good things have happened, but then they fall back into that hole. And I just wanted them to see that the darkness they've been through has only made them stronger. And it's about just going through those times over and over again, but not being scared of it anymore, because you know that you've made it before and it gets better. And then that kind of tied in with the rest of the album as cohesiveness, where it just made sense. And so that was the decision for that title.
Okay, so the next track, Bones, this is where it kind of I actually appreciated the experimentation on it, as I also remember that you were telling me the first time I interviewed you, you were talking about how you were a fan of Billie Eilish, and some of the tracks on here I could actually see the Billie Eilish influence on there. If I remember correctly, I think it was on Bones. Was it on Dead Roses?
Anytime I'm whisper singing, that's my
oh, it was on Bones and Crooked Halo. Those were the songs that I was thinking. Like because now that I had that thought in the back of my mind after I interviewed you, I was thinking, now I can really hear the influence of of what you were trying to do in this song. So, who? Well, first I'll mention who was the mixing engineer for the song.
So Matt Good pretty much produced the entire record, and he had actually introduced me to Billie Eilish. I never heard of her before. He was like, "I'm like this kid is sick." I'm like, "I'll listen to it." So we had, in my spare time, I started listening to him. And really like it, and I don't know, maybe I don't usually like to listen to anything as we're writing because I do get influence, and so those two songs I definitely feel the influence from listening to it. But yeah, he Bones was like, I almost feel like more of a Postal Service kind of draw because it takes me back to the old Postal Service stuff. But when I had that on repeat, you know how sometimes music just kind of gets stuck in your head, and even if it's way back there in the subconscious, some melodies just never go away. So that's where Bones kind of came from. And Crooked Halo, the producer had just gotten back from we wanted to try something super off the wall. We were towards the end of the writing, and we wanted to try something super different. And he came back from a bachelor party from Mexico, and and he's like, "Yo, I got this sick beat in my head. Let's try it." I'm like,
wait, was he still under the influence when he went into the studio, or was he just like hyped up from Mexico? Like,
I don't know, it was a mixture of both, and so we just played with that, and those two songs lyrically became, I feel like, the most poetic I was able to get, and just because it wasn't so sticking to the formula that is a rock song and active rock and like what it's supposed to be, and it was we definitely were able to play around with just being artistic.
yeah, I did appreciate the lyricism on Bones and Crooked Halo. That is something that I did note in my review, I believe. And since we already went through Crooked Halo, we might as well move to Dead Roses. Dead Roses, I can actually say, seems more of a faster type of. Well, I mean, obviously it's metal, but it's gonna be faster. But it seems as if there's a little bit more of a thrash influence, if that makes sense. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. It just seems as if the instrumentation is like supposed to be a mix of like old school pop rock sort of like I mentioned before, like Flyleaf mixed in with maybe a little bit of like early onset A Day to Remember. I mean that's just me because I listened to those when I was younger, but what was the influence for that track?
That was another one we were like, let's talk about breakup song or like a relationship thing, and I'm like, no. Mainly because I just don't want to revisit those pasts, and I don't want to give those people any further energy, if that makes sense. But so Dead Roses is just about a very volatile relationship and kind of what it was like, and it was mainly written to try to show people that it did get better, and I went through that too. And as far as the musical influence, I think like there was a lot of a 30 Seconds to Mars kind of vibe with like The Kill and stuff like that. As far as the music went, but if you listen to the bridge, you'll hear it. And thrash, I don't hear. That's interesting that you came up with that, but I definitely hear like a little pop punky kind of thing. And Matt Good is super all about the pop punk. So
well, I was saying like A Day to Remember because like some of their older material off of what was the album called? Off of Homesick. They had some of the songs that were very like, they had certain songs they were just like do 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 do, and then other songs were just straight. Just full on metalcore, you know what I'm saying? So I was just kind of giving that whole like A Day to Remember type of thing. I forgot specifically the song that I was thinking of, but anyway, moving on to the final track, My Demon. I actually have that in the background just for shits and giggles. But um, My Demon, you actually just well, I wouldn't say just, but it was what 2 months ago that this released, I believe. Yeah, 2 months ago you released the music video. What kind of gave you the idea to make this song into a visual representation out of any of the other tracks on the album besides the other tracks that you've already done for music videos?
The great thing is that like Spotify these days and streaming services, you can kind of tell what people want to hear more. You
Mm-hmm.
can tell which songs they play more often than others. And My Demon was doing fine organically on its own. So our bass player actually was like, "Hey, My Demon's doing pretty good on Spotify. Do you guys want to make it a music video?" And we're like, "Sure." Like, and then we asked the label if there was a budget, and they were like, "Yeah." And we're like, "Okay, let's make it happen." And then we had all gotten together, and we're like, "Okay, what do you want the My Demon is basically about like being having that little devil on your shoulder that's telling you like to do all these bad things, and just being okay with not being perfect and not being good all the time. You know, we're not all angels. Like we all have our bad side to us, but and being okay with that. So and understanding it. But the video, I was like, well, My Demon can like it's a little seducing kind of play on it, and uh, so I was like, what if there was like a demon that like seduced us? And what if it was a girl? Ooh, she could seduce me, and it would be really weird to people. And then, like, especially with what we're not known for doing it all and taking me out of my comfort zone for sure. And just kind of creating art. I'm like, ooh, she can seduce the whole band. And then everybody was like, Merritt's like, I don't know. And uh, our drummer, I didn't realize this, but our drummer has a fiance now, and she was like, "Hey, if there's ever any girls, will you let me know if like anything happens or like stop it from happening?" I'm like, "Cool." And then I wrote this like part where this girl has to seduce all of us, and I'm like, when I didn't realize it until the music video, until Decker had his part with her that she had to pretend to seduce him, and we're all friends. She's done merch for us. She's totally cool, just like a sister kind of thing. But she's a perfect demon for that. But and I realized it after, and I was like, oh my gosh, I promised her I wouldn't let that happen. And then I texted her, and I'm like, hey, just so you know, this is my fault. It's pretty funny.
It's funny that you mentioned the concept of the song with the devil on your shoulder, because I believe that's actually like what I said in the review. Like I actually got that idea that it was like the devil on the shoulder, and it was like whispering in the ear and stuff like that. So, I'm glad that my interpretation was pretty much dead on.
I
Because
think you're pretty on all the time. Like, figured it out. That's good.
it's kind of just like a idea of because everybody has always seen the cartoon. They got the angel, you got the devil, but it when it comes to me writing music, I never really have that connotation about having the devil on my shoulder, because it's sort of a concept that I feel I wouldn't say it's overdone. I would just say sometimes it's easy to misinterpret, if that makes sense. It's because some people can actually be like, use an idea and say that maybe the angel is the one lying or the devil is the one who's telling the truth. You know what I'm saying? It's like some people can do that in a different way, but at the same time, it's demon is a type of subject that many artists use in many, many, many different ways. Some people can talk about metaphorical demons, real demons, comparing metaphorical demons to other people. So it's very fitting that we have the now that we have the whole spiel of what My Demon is supposed to represent. Um, Now people can stop being in your comments and being like, "Oh, what is this supposed to be about?" Because I already know, like, because I've seen the comments before. People will always comment when there's a female in a video. They'll be like, You know, you are there's just already going to be there's going to be assholes in the comments. There's going to be creepy dudes in the comments because I personally had that in my own comments. So it's and it's odd too because I never even released my music yet. So it's
Are there any
but
good comments in there? I haven't read it yet.
oh, I don't know. I haven't really checked it because
Juicy comment.
I mean, if I find some, I'll like flash them on screen. But with, and it's funny too because I think that now that people are starting to accept more of the LGBTQ community as it keeps going in, people are not afraid to be outlandish because personally, I'm a straight man. You know what I'm saying? But I know that there's people in my life who are a part of the LGBTQ community, and I'm not afraid of them because they're good people, and I take that in the heart. I know Lena from Infected Rain. She did a music video with I forgot her name, but she did a music video where she featured on someone's song, and it was basically like a I forgot what it was. It was like a cover of a band that was not well known, and the whole video was basically just her being basically um, in like a seductive way with another woman, and I believe she said she was. I don't remember if she said she was straight or bi when I interviewed her, but I'm just saying it's like there's so much representation that people use nowadays. It's just many people can interpret many different ways, and that's kind of the reason why I wanted to, kind of get the album from the artist perspective, so that like not only that I have my own interpretation, but now I have another idea of what actually came up with.
Yeah, and it's funny because when my mom's interpretation of the video when I released it, she was like, "Why is it so evil?" What, like, I guess the word demon being the title like terrifies her, but it's not about like there's no actual satanic rituals going on here. Like it's art. Like I told like mom, it's just art for enjoyment and entertainment. So everybody's interpretation is different, I guess.
Yeah, it is kind of it does take a lot of exploration for somebody to dive into those topics because I know that when it comes, you came up with the idea for the music video, correct?
Yeah, me and the boys all kind of.
Okay. So, when it came down to the actual shooting of the video, is there like anything that you thought was kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of like stood out while you were shooting, or something that happened before or after, or just
Oh yeah,
weird shit that happened. You know what I'm saying? Like
we shot it in COVID in the middle of pandemic in downtown Los Angeles, which is completely different world now. But
just a ghost town down there.
It's just crazy. Yeah, like there's it. Yeah, it's bad. But so originally we had a different director planned for it because the pandemic. It's hard to get anything done without somebody getting COVID or somebody like canceling or the venue's closed and now it's open and whatever. The venue we got somehow because we wouldn't have gotten this venue if there wasn't a pandemic. It was a beautiful place. And so the original director had to bail last minute, family issues. We thought it was just going to fall through. Our drummer already flew out for it. And we were like, well, I don't know. It was like around 4th of July, I think, that we recorded it. So we were like, well, I don't know. And then I had helped volunteer kind of do some stuff for this place, like this monkey sanctuary. And they have like kangaroos and all this stuff, just animals that people find out these people own these animals in places they're not supposed to. And they get taken, but they have a sanctuary to go to. And so they basically help save some of them from, I don't know, wherever else they'd end up. But anyway, and through this Sanctuary, there was a videographer that actually is the videographer for Korn for the last 14 years. He goes on tour with them and stuff. Him and his girl happened to be there, and I was like, "Do you guys do music videos by chance?" Yeah, that's actually like our main gig. And I was like, "Okay, do you want to do this? We have the whole entire thing laid out how we want it. We have the venue. We just need somebody to film it and edit it." And they were like, "All right, let's do it." Somehow with the budget we had and everything. And it was almost like a miracle it even happened. I'm very surprised that we were able to get it done. And after, like, at the end, I'm just like, how did we do that? Like, how? It was crazy that they came in like that. And they're so talented, the people that ended up putting that together. And I'm just, it was awesome. I don't know how it happened.
Okay, well, now that we've finally gone through the album and, we've shared some stuff about the video, where you are coming to an end for the podcast, is there anything that you want to note to the viewers or want to share with us? Maybe some new music, maybe?
We are going to be doing a live stream. We did a live stream already, and we actually like did it live and released it and everything. But we kept the footage, and we're going to be for people that missed it. We're going to replay it on our Twitch channel on February 10th at 6 p.m. Pacific time for free. You don't have to pay for it. You can just come and watch it with us. And it's going to be on the front page of Twitch, which last time we got 26,000 new people. So that was cool. And should answer it.
Nah, it's somebody from Rockport, New York. I don't even know where the hell that is.
But yeah, so you can come February 10th and check out our live stream full concert for free, 6 p.m. Pacific. Twitch.tv/StitchedUpHeartRock.
Okay, well, there you go, guys. That was the interpretation of Darkness by Stitched Up Heart. Thanks, Mixi, for joining me once again, for putting up with 45 minutes of me rambling about an album. And if you ever just want to come back on, and if you ever just want to come back on to the podcast, just shoot me an email and we can set something up.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate you taking the time.